first opening batsman, Dr. Nanjappa, to hit the park because I expect that from the very first slide of his. Welcome, Nanjappa. Started.
Yeah, so am I audible as well as are my slides seen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, we can say you.
Okay, so first of all, let me thank the entire West Zone Council for having given me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful, webinar, which is on, and they have asked me to talk on a topic of making a PowerPoint presentation. So let me be very clear that I would be only talking on how to make your slides on any platform, either PowerPoint or Keynote, and I would not be covering anything on what would be the how to make the whole content of the presentation. So it will be just making how to make your slides. I would not be dealing of any platforms or any content. That will be taken off by the other speakers who are there over here. So when I start to make my slides, what is the first thing which comes into mind is I have to choose a background. So how do I select my background? That's called the template. So most of us would like to select a very colorful background or a dynamic background. But mind you, in a scientific forum, such type of backgrounds are very disturbing and distracting. So it's always better to use templates which are light. So a light template where you have dark text on light backgrounds, and these are best to be done on a well-lit room. So if you're going to talk on a very bright, well-lit room, use these types of templates which are light. They have a highest readability. The only con here is when you're using a very bright template, you have eye strain. So that's why that's one of the problems which can happen. So going on to, can we use a dark template? Yeah, or you can use a dark template where there are light text on dark background. These are best when you're talking on dimly lit rooms, whether you're talking on a stage, there's a virtual presentation. Here the focus goes more on images. Now, the trade-off between the two would be to go to a light gray or a off-white background. So this is a trade-off of how you can prevent eye strain by using these two types of templates. Some type of organizers would send you templates. There are custom-made templates. So you see whether they match your criteria and then start using those templates accordingly. Some also of us would like to use a logo as a watermark on our templates. So see, when you're using a logo, it should not distract the main text of your slide. So see that your logo is, transparency is less and it is very, very less and not in the center of the slide and preferably at one corner of your slide. So that's how you can start using a logo. Now, once we have selected our templates or a background, now comes the fonts. So how do I select my fonts? There are two types of fonts which are available for presentation. One is called the serif fonts and the other is called the sans serif fonts. Actually, serif means a foot, a feet. So these fonts have these small feet coming out of them at the edges. So can you see the small feet? So these serif fonts are best for printed material, but they are not good for presentations on a digital screen. So when you use a digital screen, you have to use sans serif font. Sans serif means without feet. So that's the meaning of this font. So these are rounded fonts. So I would just like to give you a few types of sans serif font. You can use any of those fonts which you want, but they have to be preferably sans serif. Now I've selected my template and my fonts. Now I have to put those fonts. So how do I put my fonts into my presentation? Try to use just 2 to 3 fonts in the entire presentation. Don't keep on changing your fonts per slide. Avoid an all caps so that it appears as if you're shouting, and see that whether you can embed your fonts onto your presentation. That's when you save your presentation, embed it so that when you change your presentation from one uh, PC or a laptop to another at the presentation venue, your fonts are still there. A tip over here is every header should be at least 32 points and larger, and a body of your presentation should be 24 points and larger. So that makes the presentation much readable. Once you have your fonts on place, you want to highlight certain portion of the presentation. So how you can do it? Bold, to do your fonts bold, yeah, definitely it's a good thing. But try and avoid being italic or making it a shadow or underlining it. That's passe. The new thing here is highlighting a part of your presentation. That's a very good way of how you can highlight certain parts of your presentation. So I've selected my template, put in my fonts. The next thing is to design my slide. So how do I design my slide? When I design my slide, the thing over here is always remember that there is a rule of 5. but it's not necessary to be at 5. It means that use 5 to 6 lines, maximum 7 lines per slide. See that each line does has around 5 to 6 words, and as you don't start repeating only text slides. Now, when you see, when I started this blue image which came on the screen, the attention span became better. So try to avoid slides, 5 slides of text, and put in one graphics or one image in the middle. So that's how you design. Now, if I want to tell you all about a slide design, here is all what I want to tell you in this slide, that slides are a good medium for depicting a great. So already while putting this on the slide, the crowd has started to read the slide at different speeds, and I'm losing everything because I'm talking at a different level. So if the same thing would have been put like this, summarized into bullet points, now here we have these slides that should not be text heavy. It's a good medium for an idea or overview, but a poor medium for detail or reading. Avoid paragraphs, even complete sentences on your slides. Limit it to 5 lines, and don't use it as your speaker notes. Don't keep on reading from your slides. So these are the things. So how the things can change by just formatting your slides better. This is a classic example in our scientific forum when we want to put an article, right, cut, copy, paste, and put it over here. And I start reading it that retrograde ureteroscopy is how it's better than PCNL or equal to PCNL in large ureteric cal. So I start reading the entire conclusion, and I'm completely lost because various people are reading at various points on this slide. Instead of that, if I summarize this slide again and I say that RIRS is good because it has less complication, good stone-free rate, less hospital stay, you can manage failed ESWL cases, post-PCNL residue, and is a viable alternative. So how we have whole thing has been concised, and it is well taken on this slide. Now, once you have your text inside and you have formatted it well, now slide to try to change few of the text to visuals. That becomes better. So if I take this slide as an example, what are the causes of preoperative causes for high chances of sepsis in flexible ureteroscopy? It can be female gender, extremes of age, anomalous anatomy, repeated attacks of UTI, deranged renal function, incomplete stone removal, or pre-existing drains. If this could be just put in like this, and few of the text could be changed into visuals, the whole way of how it is conveyed to the crowd changes. So we can use this as a trick in formatting and making our slides. Similarly, if we want to convey that less than 90 minutes operative time is better and more than 120 minutes is guarded, this could be one visual which could take it. Now comes formatting a slide. So this is very important. The layout and the spell check, because you have now text, you have graphics, you have designed everything, and now you have to start formatting a slide. So this is how you put in, like if you want to put comparison between two scopes and I just want to put text on the slide, this would be an ideal way. If I want to put an image over there, how I could put it and occupy the whole slide to see over here. Now, if I just want to show you how this helps, when you're doing it on your slide, there are some points which help you out on these types of rods which come on your slide. They help you to see and format your slide better. So this is how the formatting can be done. These guidelines will help you to do the same, and this is how your slide in the end will look. So this is how formatting in both the platforms would help you out. Or you can use a flow chart to give your whole data well, or you could use even a chart, I mean even a table to convey your message. How to make these are beyond the scope of this time over here provided. We have done everything. Last comes animation. So now we have to introduce animations. So it is, these flashy animations are very impressive, but they are distracting. So use subtle animation. That would be the gold standard. The point here is 20% of your slides only should have animations, and actually using animation can slow your presentation. So every transition or every animation which you have should be less than zero point 0.5 of a second. So now let's go back to our article which was over there. Now, when I showed it to you and I concised it and summarized it, this is how I put it up. Instead of that, if I had put it up in this way and had started with one point at one time, it has less complication, good stone-free rate, less hospital stay, and I go one step by one step, you are with me and you don't get distracted. So that's our subtle way of you animations. Now, even some people may be very rigid and may say, no, we require the whole cutout here, on this, the whole article like this on the screen, because that's an evidence. So even if you want to put it, don't start reading the conclusion completely, but say, use subtle animations like this. You can say it's because it has less complications, less morbidity, good stone free rate, because of less hospital stay, definitely helps in failed extracorporeal shockwave lithotripsies or post PCNL residual calcula, and is a good alternative for PCNL. So these are subtle ways of how we can use animations to go ahead. Last but not the least, as I can tell you, the most important thing, your entire slide and presentation is ready. Now comes the delivery. In the delivery, the most important person is the person who's going to deliver these slides. So the moment you saw me on screen now, the whole attention is towards me. So that person is also important. Don't read from your slides. Maintain eye contact, use body language, and use voice modulation. So that's how you can keep your crowd engaged. That's very, very important. Rehearsal your entire presentation aloud. Time yourself, respect time of the organizers and the audience, and address every technical issue, where you're going to present, what is the platform, whether it's Keynote, it's PowerPoint. These are the things to be seen, and that's how you'll give a very good delivery. So, dear friends, the take home message is, keep your slides simple. Use visuals as much as possible over text. It should be a readable design, and avoid excessive animation. Rehearsal loud, time yourself, and don't ever read your slide. See that you take technical precautions. Thank you so much, and thank you for this patient hearing.
Thank you, Nanjappa. As usual and as expected, great presentation. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.